What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to make a quick video about my personal top 10 cards that I believe really you shouldn't waste your gold on upgrading. I mean, if you have the gold and there's nothing else that you really need to upgrade, then yes, go ahead and do it. It might help you a little bit, but these are the top 10 cards in the game currently that are not level dependent at all. The benefit of these cards are just the actual benefit of the card, like how it plays, and the strategy of it, not how much DPS it's doing based on its level. I was talking to some of my clan members over the weekend about some of the cards that, you know, since most players are free to play, they don't really have all the gold in the world to just upgrade everything. So we do have to make the choices of, am I going to upgrade my Skarmy or am I going to upgrade my Skeleton Giant? So I really wanted to just touch base with that. Before I start, guys, let me know in the comment section below what you think about these next 10 cards, if they justify being in this top 10 or not, and let me know if this video helps you in terms of making the right decisions to build your primary deck and climb that ladder faster. Coming in at number 10 is obviously the NATO. The NATO really doesn't do a lot of damage, so it's really not level dependent. The benefit of this card is just to be able to pull a card actually away from a princess deck, pull a card away from one of your vulnerable units right before they're about to get a hit on and get destroyed, pulling any units towards your king tower to activate them for more defense. The damage that the NATO really doesn't affect it. In terms of your win rate or your play style. You're just using it for the benefit of the card itself. NATO doesn't really kill most units. I don't even think it kills a princess. So, you know, to waste all the gold that you may have upgrading a NATO just so that it can finally kill that princess, compared to, you know, an extra 120 damage for a mini P.E.K.K.A. it just makes no sense, and that's why the NATO makes it in that top 10. Number 9 is actually one of the cards that I see a lot of people going crazy on, requesting and upgrading and trying to max it out, and it's actually the Tombstone. The Tombstone, even though it is a swarm building type of card and you want to build up a swarm with it, the benefit of the swarm is not really strong at all. Like, when you think about it, the skeleton will always die before it reaches a princess tower. It'll die to any ranged unit. Even if it makes it to a melee unit, it's gonna maybe get like, what, 13 damage on it, so it's really not beneficial to it. The benefit of the Tombstone is it being a perfect unit for defending against charging units, so like a bandit, a prince, anything like that. Once that Tombstone breaks and those 4 more skeletons spawn, it'll distract the charging unit like a battle ram. It'll allow you to it'll give you a little more time to, you know, drop another unit, or it'll actually just take care of that offensive unit on its own. You know, like a bandit cannot survive, especially with the fire of a princess tower. It definitely cannot survive 4 skeletons in a princess tower. So that's really the benefit of it. And, you know, whether it's level 1 or level 13, the Tombstone is really there for just the defensive first initial hit, just kind of like a Dark Princess shield. Spending 50,000 gold, upgrading it to, I think, like, what, level 12 or level 13, it just makes no sense to me, especially, you know, having a limited amount of resources and instead of just buying all the gold in the shop. Speaking of shields, guards actually makes it into the top 10 as well, because again, the guards are not there for mostly offensive, they're mostly there for the defensive. Their benefit is that shield that they carry with them. They will stop a charging prince, stop anything like a bandit. They don't automatically die to a rocket or a fireball or even lightning, right? Once that shield pops off, they're basically just a skeleton with a sword, and it really doesn't have that much benefit to it. They have a little bit of a longer range, so yeah, they can kind of, you know, if you have a Valkyrie standing there attacking one of your princess towers, as long as you drop the guards further enough, the Valkyrie axe doesn't hit them that far. So yeah, they have a little bit of a longer range, but again, once that shield is gone, they're zappable, they're just way too squishy for us to waste all our gold and all our effort on it. And that is exactly why those guards, I know I had a little bit of a hard time with this one, because I can definitely see the benefit of them, you know, being able to take an extra couple of hits, but it's not even a couple of hits. It's the shield that really does it for you. And upgrading those cards, it just doesn't affect the shield at all. So that is exactly why the guards make it into the top 10. Same thing as the guards, Skarmy is definitely another one of those cards that you should not be wasting your gold on upgrading. Skarmy is only worth it for the first couple of seconds anyways. Most of the time they're, even at max level, they're zappable, arrowable, if that's even a word. Fireball, any kind of spell will destroy them. Any kind of splash unit will destroy them as well. They're really there just either for tanking or for just melting down a tower, or melting down a tank, or you know, a charging unit, or anything like that that's going towards your tower. And upgrading them from, you know, level 10 to level 11, it's not going to change anything. It's going to give you like a couple of extra hit points on each individual skeleton, but even at max level they're zappable, so it really doesn't matter. They don't really survive the first 2 seconds anyway, so as long as they survive that first 2 seconds and do enough damage to melt an RG or melt a tower, a level 6 is a level 6 and you saved yourself a couple 100,000 gold. And just like Skarmy, the skeletons are also the exact same way as the Skarmy. They're just there for cycling. I think they only cost like what, 1 elixir. Yeah, they can do a little bit of DPS as long as they have a tank, you know, being focused on, and they're just kind of there just chipping away. That's great. But at the end of the day, they're just a unit to kite with. They're a unit to, you know, stop a charging prince or stop any kind of charging unit. Yeah, you can use them for a little bit of DPS, but again, all that gold is not worth it because it's only a couple extra hit points. And number 6 is the Rage. Again, the Rage is one of those things where as you level it up, it doesn't really do much to it. The benefit of Rage is the first second anyways, first 1 or 2 seconds, because most of the time the Rage actually survives longer than the units that you've placed on the map anyways, so increasing the range to having a longer lifespan doesn't really make that much of a difference, and that is exactly why it makes it in the top 10. And just like the Rage, Freeze also makes it a top 10. Yes, I get it, the Freeze has that drop damage, but it's only like 100 hit points, so it's really there to not do much. It has a freeze of 4 seconds, and that's really the huge benefit of Freeze. You know, being able to drop it and it doing an extra couple of hit points is not really gonna help us out at all. You're not going to cycle this card anyways because it does cost 4 elixir. It's not a cyclable card. It doesn't do that much damage. It's just for the benefit of stopping towers and stopping armies from destroying you, and that is exactly why it is in the top 10. Even though Ice Spirits is a great card, I do believe it justifies putting it into that top 10 again, because again, it doesn't do a lot of damage, doesn't have a lot of health. You're gonna use it for kiting, you're only gonna use it to distract your opponent. You can use it for that benefit of slowing down a tower if it's like, you know, you're dropping a miner with an Ice Spirit, the miner, you know, is chipping away, it's tanking for the Ice Spirit comes in. But again, we're only talking about 1 elixir and only an extra 100 damage with the slow effect for the miner on a tower. So honestly, wasting all that gold, I would rather see you spend that money on the miner instead of the Ice Spirit. And coming in at number 9 actually, and again, this is not in any order, this is just kind of like random. I'm not saying that number 9 and all of a sudden, you know, these are the cards that are the best and the least, or like you shouldn't upgrade them at all or anything like that. They're exactly like the NATO. Is the Inferno cards, the Inferno Tower and the Inferno Dragon, specifically for the fact that, again, it's an Inferno card, right? The benefit of it is that it builds up and it basically has an infinite damage. So when we're talking about an Inferno Dragon that's level 1 or Inferno Dragon that's, I know it's not level 9, not level 1, but the lowest level Inferno Dragon and the maxed out Inferno Dragon, the damage is going to be minuscule just because it's chargeable, right? Like it can melt a P.E.K.K.A. in seconds. It can melt an RG, Giant, any kind of those big units. If it reaches the tower, it'll melt the tower in 3 seconds or 3.5 or like 3 or 2.5 seconds, you know, like if you have it maxed out. So wasting all that gold, trying to find it in the shop, trying to trade it with your other clan members is just a waste of your time. It's, yes, upgrade it if you have the gold already. You don't need the gold. If you already have enough of those cards, then yeah, you know, having an extra little bit of hit points for an Inferno Dragon or, you know, an Inferno Tower, especially if you're using it also as a defensive, kind of like from the charging units, then yeah, I kind of see the point of it. But again, we're really looking at the charge of the card. That's really the huge benefit for your deck, being able to melt big heavy units. And and that is just not going to help you when, you know, whether you have a level 9 or a level 13, it doesn't really matter because it's going to melt it away anyways. And the last card of the video, and this one I kind of had a little bit of a hard time putting it in here, but I find that, you know, 95% of the time you're going to use the log. It's really just to clear off little swarms. You're not really, you know, hoping you're gonna do a whole lot of damage on a wizard or, you know, on a mini P.E.K.K.A. or a musketeer. You're really, it's either you're gonna use it for the pushback effect of it or for the AoE that just clears off everything. It has a little bit of a benefit that, you know, that it can reach the princess towers and do a little bit of damage. You know, if somebody puts a princess down, you can clear the princess off. That gives you a neutral trade on elixir, but then you're doing also a little bit of damage onto that princess tower, so it puts you in a positive. So it's great, but that's going to happen regardless. Whether you have a level 9 or level 13 log, that is going to happen regardless. Yes, spend the money if you have it and you don't need it, but wasting gold on a log when 95% of the time you're just hoping to clear off a swarm or do just a neutral, you know, exchange of elixir, it's just, I would rather spend my money on, you know, a magic archer instead of the log. And there you go, guys. There's the top 10 cards that I believe that we should not be focusing on, you know, wasting your gold on, especially if you're a free-to-play player and gold is getting hard to come by, especially once you start ranking up, and, you know, to upgrade a card can cost you 200,000 gold. Definitely not worth it when we're talking about the NATO. Let me know what you think about this order. I may have left some of the cards out, you know, I actually could have maybe done a top 15, but I think that was just a little bit too much for this video. So there's the top 10, guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more Clash Royale content.